Hello everyone and welcome back to my The General Hospital 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jason Morgan and Sonny Corinthos prepared for a Toronto ambush and planned to seek answers about the hitman's master. In Alexis Davis's office, Diane Miller compactly shocked when she set up Alexis sprawled out on the bottom. Alexis assured Diane that she was just planning ahead of her meeting with Rick Lansing. Diane stuck around to play adjudicator since Alexis planned to push for peace. Still, Rick showed up and incontinently offered an reason, so it was clear that he was on the same runner. While Rick and Alexis shook on their new armistice, Molly Lansing Davis showed up at Sonny's place and made a pitch to Christina Corinthos Davis. Molly wanted her family back, so she eventually induced Christina to have some movie nights with her and sounded hopeful about where effects were headed in their relationship. At Charlie's Cantina, Lucky Spencer had a romantic regale with Elizabeth Baldwin. As Liz and Lucky reflected on their New York adventure as teens, Lucky invited her to come on a New York weekend flight with him. After Elizabeth accepted Lucky's assignation, she had to dash off to work. Next, Ava Jerome dropped some hints to Nina Reeves about seeing Sonny with fresh eyes following their rearmost discussion. After Ava took Avery Corinthos to Sonny's place for the drop-off, she wound up writing Christina intimately about Sonny's medical issues. Ava suggested that if Sonny was well enough to take care of Avery, also she should have full-time guardianship, and she made a vaticination about a judge agreeing with her. Back at Alexis' office, Molly arrived and learned Cody Bell had been necessary in persuading Rick to make peace with Alexis. Molly also gave Alexis updates on her sweats to patch effects up with Christina. Once Ava headed home, she set up Rick in her apartment and mentioned the fact that he'd situated in her parking spot. Soon later, Christina began pounding on Ava's door since she wanted to finish this formally and for all. In Sonny's office, he filled Jason in on what happened with Ava at his house lately. Brick ultimately showed up with a new lead on Salisky, the hitman that Valentine Cassadine criticized for the extension explosion. Salisky was a contract killer and Wessex intelligence according to Brick, who also revealed that he was presently in Toronto. Since Salisky was renting an apartment and storehouse there, Brick suggested he could presumably be set up at one of those locales. Still, Brick advised that Salisky was paranoid and dangerous, so he felt a platoon should be transferred in. Jason was prepared to handle this himself right down, but he didn't like the idea of Sonny joining in because of his health. Sonny claimed on going with Jason and hoped to figure out the name of the person who hired Salisky. At Jordan Ashford's place, she bandied mayoral drama with Isaiah Gannon and principally said she'd stand against Sonny if she were in charge. When Brick arrived with flowers and saw Jordan with Isaiah, he realized they were a couple now. Jordan asked Brick to keep that news to himself, so he agreed that he would. Brick also mentioned he'd heard questionable effects about Isaiah's family, so he hoped Isaiah wasn't tangled up in any of that. Isaiah assumed Brick had looked into his background, but Jordan assured him that she hadn't asked Brick to do that. At GH, Felicia Scorpio spoke to Sasha Gilmore Corbin about conceivably adding Jason's medical word to the baby's train and wondered whether he'd be on the birth instrument. Sasha acted like that was necessary since she was raising this baby singly, but Felicia pushed her to talk with Jason and make sure effects were squared down. After Sasha left Jason a voicemail laterally, he saw that she'd called and prepared to take off for Toronto with Sonny. Meanwhile, Stella Henry met with Lucas Jonas in an test room, where they talked about order complaint pitfalls and the significance of being visionary. At the Quartermaine manse, Brooke Lynn Quartermaine told Harrison Chase that Lulu Spencer quit her job at Deception because of him. Brooke Lynn mentioned Lulu's claims about Chase's angry visit, so he was bothered over her running her mouth. Since Chase used his emblem to make pitfalls, Brooke Lynn was concerned about this side of him. Chase could make some other bold moves as this plot moves along, so stay tuned. Ned shifts the discussion to taking care of Drew, and suggests they hang him with the fact they know he was sleeping with Nina. Tracy asks what if he calls their Baranka. Ned says, also we blow up his relationship with Willow. Tracy admits that would be satisfying, but Drew is far too stubborn to be blackmailed, and that would waste the Nina secret. She thinks that information is stylish used against Nina at some point. Ned admits her plutocrat and influence could come in handy down the line. Gio and Emma go down to the boathouse. Emma aloud. Ned would go for their idea, but Gio says at the end of the day Ned will always cover and put the family first. Emma realizes Ned might consider their idea if someone in the family backed it. Gio thinks it's a good idea, and he knows just who to ask for help. Christina drops by her father's place and tells him she just learned some precious information that might break all his problems with Ava. Christina explains Ava's been having plutocrat trouble, and effects are much more dire than they allowed. Ava prayed her mama for a loan from the Cassadine estate, and her mama said no. She says Ava is overreached, so he can use this to get guardianship of Avery. Sonny says the Avery situation has been settled, but he'll suppose about what she told him. Sonny tells her Donna is then, so Christina goes to check on her. There's a knock at the door, Sonny answers, and it's Ava. Ava tells Sonny she's then because of Avery, and she needs further child support. Sonny knows Ava's fiscal situation is in the restroom, so if she needs plutocrat, ask him and Duant hide behind their son. Ava admits she needs $2 million. She swears it would be a loan, and she'll pay it all back. She's in jeopardy of losing everything. Sonny says he'll do it on one condition. He wants to readdress their guardianship arrangement and suggests they reduce her guardianship to 2 weekends a month. Ava says, over my dead body. Ava refuses and says that she'd be dealing her son to him. She asks, what kind of mama do you suppose I am? Sonny responds, the kind who would use her child as a cover to get plutocrat. He thinks Avery would thrive under his care. She rebuffs and says that maybe in a many times she can look forward to visiting her son in a burn clinic in Germany. Sonny yells back that she is innocent, and she's the reason Morgan and Connie are dead, and he wouldn't forget or forgive that. He was trying to be civil, but the verity is if she was Avery's mama. Suddenly, Sonny grabs his casket and collapses. Ava asks what's passing. Sonny goes for his capsules but drops them. She spots them on the bottom as he reaches for them. Ava says, my, look then. Do you need those? Nina Reeves is reaching her limit where Drew Quartermain is concerned. She wants nothing further than to see Willow Corinthos end her relationship with the cutthroat congressman, and she may take extreme measures to do this. There's a good chance that Nina will unmask the sap about her affair with Drew to Willow soon. This might be the only thing that can save her son from this poisonous relationship. But could effects get messy if Drew and Willow have a heated battle when the nanny tries to end effects? Drew's hung up with Willow, there's no arguing that. He's also a wild card. After all, he continues to cross lines, time and time again when it comes to his vile jest. Just when suckers suppose Drew can't sink any lower, he does. So, what happens if the verity comes out about him and Nina, and Willow tries to break up with him? Would effects get so heated or emotional that Willow fears for her life? Could she reach for a gun? Could she end up shooting Drew in an act of tone defense?